Yo, what is up, guys, and welcome back to Comicreview47 podcast. And in this podcast, we're going to be talking about Thor Ragnarok, the good and the bad. Now, before we start, I'm going to say that this has a lot of spoilers, so like, if you haven't seen the movie, go check it out, and then come back to the podcast once you've watched it. But I have to say that Thor Ragnarok is like a really good movie. Like, I liked it better than Doctor Strange, than like Civil War. It's actually like one of the best comic book movies I've seen since probably Avengers. I'm not even sure. Like, Wonder Woman is really good, but I actually like Thor Ragnarok better than even Wonder Woman and Spider-Man: Homecoming. I know that's a little exaggerated, but honestly, because I have different tastes. Most people really like the Spider-Man movie. I liked it, but I don't know. But that's another subject for another day. Anyways, Thor Ragnarok. I'll talk about like the good first, and then I'll talk about the bad. So, uh, you know, obviously with the good things, I'm just kind of I'm gonna talk about like what was good about the movie, and for the bad things, it was actually really hard to find anything bad with it. So, that's what I'm putting at the end. So, anyways, first of all, the movie was actually really funny. Like the humor was it gives me like Guardians of the Galaxy vibes. Not just the humor, but the movie in general. It was kind of like in space, and Marvel Studios always puts like a lot of like new technology and like alien technology. I like how they do that with CGI and things like that. And it really seems like Guardians of the Galaxy. And also like the humor. The movie, yeah, there was funny moments where I actually laughed. Like Guardians of the Galaxy, I feel like the humor is a little bit forced, in my opinion. Maybe you guys liked it. I liked the humor, but not that much. But Thor Ragnarok was actually really good. Like for example, we have like the Rock guy. I think his name, I forgot his name. I think it was like Korg or something like that. He's got like a really high pitched voice, and actually it sounds pretty funny. And then he's actually pretty chill. He's like, "Hey man, we're going to Asgard. You want to come?" Like, I was like, "What the heck?" We have the Grandmaster. He's actually pretty funny. How he talks to Thor, and like, how he's like just a pretty chill dude as well. We got the Stanley cameo that we have like in every Marvel movie, which is actually pretty funny. Like in this cameo, he was actually the dude that would like cut Thor's hair, and he had like 50 gadgets in his hand, and he looked like a crazy dude. I thought that was actually pretty funny. Actually, I don't know if that cameo was like CGI or not. I couldn't really tell, but yeah. So another thing, there was a scene where like Hulk was talking to the Valkyrie. I forgot what her name was. And then he like threw the ball, like hoping to break the glass, but it just like bounced back and hit his face. I actually thought that was pretty funny. There was that moment where like Bruce Banner jumps off the plane, um, or like the spaceship. I mean, like towards the end of the movie, where he's about to get like the Hela's like dog or wolf or whatever. He like falls off the spaceship, but instead of turning into the Hulk before landing, he just lands as a human. I thought that was actually pretty funny. And he's just like paralyzed, and then that's when he transforms. That's like when he transforms into the Hulk, and then it's actually pretty funny from there. But yeah, like I feel like the humor is really good. Some people are saying that it kind of ruined the seriousness of the movie, but I feel like it really fits the movie that it's not so serious. Although Hela, every time she appeared, it seemed really serious. So I think the humor didn't really take away from the seriousness of the movie. I think it was pretty good. Now let's talk about the explanation. Now, I feel like the movie explained everything pretty well. It kind of explained, like, it didn't overdo it either. It didn't explain to the point where it got boring. Like, I like how they explained Hela's backstory. They explained how Hulk was able to talk. Because I was wondering, like, in the trailer, like, how is Hulk able to talk all of a sudden and he hasn't talked before? Well, they explained that it's because Hulk has been in his just only Hulk, not Bruce Banner, for 2 whole years. So, over time, the Hulk has evolved into speech and things like that. And he's actually repressing, or I don't know, he's like pushing back Bruce Banner because he doesn't want Bruce Banner anymore. Things like that. They actually explain what Hulk was doing all these 2 years. He was becoming the gladiator for the Grandmaster. They explain how Odin, Thor's father, was actually hiding Hela's backstory. And, I like how they explain how Hela was fighting the Valkyries, and she actually was able to invade, but Odin kicked her out. And like, I really like how they explain everything, and it kind of wraps up really nice. And there was a scene like where Banner's talking to Hulk, about how every time he transforms into the Hulk, it's like two different people. So like the Hulk has its own personality, and so does Banner. So they usually coexist with each other, but this time it was like Banner was in the trunk and Hulk was driving the passenger seat, which is like a metaphor, and it's also a reference to the Amadeus Cho run of Hulk. I think it's the Incredible Hulk, Unbelievable Hulk, or I forgot what the series was called from Marvel, All New, All Different Marvel. Oh, the Totally Awesome Hulk. That's what it was called. I remember that there's a panel there where they actually mention that exact like phrase or metaphor. So I thought that was really cool. Now let's talk about Hulk versus Thor. Now I actually really liked the battle. It was funny. He's like, Thor's like, we know each other from work, and then Grandmaster's like, what the heck? And then I like how I even forgot that Hulk actually like beat Loki to a pulp in Avengers. But I like how they kind of referenced the first Avengers movie and how Loki took over the world, and and Thor: The Dark World and things like that. I thought that was actually pretty funny. How Loki was actually scared of Hulk, but once Hulk was fighting Thor didn't have his hammer, right? But he was actually still kind of like beating Hulk with strategy. Since he's a warrior, he knows how to like which spots to hit. So he hits Hulk like a couple like in the stomach, from one in the back. Hulk actually, I feel like the reason why Hulk won and not Thor could have actually won if he found out about his powers before. But I feel like Thor was weakened because Thor was offering Hulk, like, he was giving him his hand, like, because he thought Banner was still, like, controlling the Hulk, but it was actually Hulk controlling Banner. So, at that moment, when Thor thought, he would take his hand, he actually, like hit him back and forth, like, the same way that he hit Loki. So, I thought that was pretty funny. Thor could have easily won, but since Hulk did, like, the entire, like, super leap, that's what pretty much made like the killing blow, you could say. Although Thor wasn't dead, obviously. So now let's talk about Hela was an actual threat. So she's like really badass. Like I really like how they represent Hela. Like she's like an actual threat. Like to me, she feels like, oh my god, not like it doesn't feel like the cliche. Oh, Thor can just take her down. Like this is actually a villain. Like, this is the first time in a while that I see that the villain is actually, like, legit unstoppable. Like, she takes down the entire army of Asgard. I don't know, about 100 warriors. She could control, like, some soldiers with the Eternal Flame. She has her by her side. She has the Executioner dude by her side. But she throws, like, thousands of daggers. That's her special move, and she's really skilled in combat. She's actually part sorceress because she's a goddess of death. So whenever like some of the warriors stab her through the stomach, it doesn't really do anything because she just kind of makes it phase through. So like there's literally almost no way to kill Hela. And now that Odin is dead, Hulk can't take her down. Even Loki, who is like like the master of like magic and things like that. So I really like how Hela was an actual threat. And not just like a cliche like the villain. I don't know. So okay, let's talk about Thor without the hammer. So that was actually really cool too. So in the trailer, obviously they showed how Hela grabbed Thor's hammer, and she actually like broke it. Because she is like has like magic abilities, so she's able to like. The only reason why she was able to grab Thor's hammers in the first place was because of her magic. It's not because she's like super strong or anything. It's like the intense amount of magic that she has. She actually broke the spell of the hammer and actually destroyed it. So I thought that was really cool. So then Thor has to learn how to use his powers without a hammer. So in the first movie, Thor, he actually learns to be worthy. But now that he has the hammer, he's dependent on it. You know, he thinks that the hammer is the only thing that can get him to stop villains. But actually, no. He's the goddess of thunder. He can actually make lightning on his own, and he doesn't even need the hammer. So I thought that was really cool. And you know, like towards the end, he starts fighting, and you know, like in when he fights versus Hulk, he also sees the electricity. So I thought that was pretty cool. Next, we have the Eternal Flame. So that's another thing I want to talk about. Like, the concept of the Eternal Flame is really cool. I actually haven't heard it in comics, and I'm pretty sure they do have it in comics, but since I'm not much of a Thor reader, I don't really know about it. So, like, we see, like, Odin has, like, a treasure room underneath, where he has, like, some fake treasures or weak ones. The only one that was actually good that Hela said was the Tesseract, which is, like, the Cosmic Cube from Captain America the First Avenger, and the one from, Avengers. And, but we also see the Eternal Flame. Now, what the Eternal Flame does is, like, it's a fire that, obviously, eternal, but it's called the Eternal Flame for another reason. It's because it can bring back, anything back to life, any person, anyone. As far as I know, I'm not really sure the limitations of it because it's not really explained that well. But, since it's not that important, they don't really need to explain it that much. So Hela, she just grabs like a little bit of fire. Using her magic, she amplifies it to be able to bring all the dead soldiers back to life. And I like how, towards the end, they bring back the fire guy. I'll talk about him in a bit. I thought that was pretty cool. So now I'm going to talk about the fire guy. I actually can't remember what his name was. I should have really searched up his name. That I could have done that real quick. I forgot. Sorry, guys. But honestly, I feel like that was a wasted opportunity. I feel like that fire dude should have been in Doctor Strange because he looks exactly like Mephisto. Like, he looks like a comic, like, representation of Mephisto. But I feel like he was exactly like Mephisto. He was as powerful as him. He was kind of like a magic-y type dude. Because of his flame and the ability to destroy a planet and things like that. So I thought that was really cool how they interpreted him. And he was, like, really badass. And I like how, in the beginning, when Thor defeats him, that actually plays a role, towards the end of the movie. So I like how that kind of connects together. Like, so in the beginning, if he's in his powerful stage, then he can actually literally destroy an entire planet, like, easily. So that's what they do towards the end. So, I already talked about how Hulk was able to talk because he was in his Hulk stage for 2 years. Now, I actually don't know why Bruce Banner was in his Hulk stage for 2 years. That's one thing that I have been wondering, like, why didn't he change back? I don't know if he was able to, or, maybe he's been Hulk for so long that he just couldn't turn back anymore. I'm not really sure how that works. But yeah, during the movie, there was really never a dull moment. Like, there was always like either action, adventure, humor. Like, there was all types of things that made the movie interesting. The explanations were interesting. Like, Hela didn't just explain it; she actually showed us. Like, she showed us like the ceiling, in Odin's, main room or whatever. Like, she put the blades on like these like carvings on the top. And then it actually revealed the true history of Asgard. So I thought that was really cool. This is not even a big thing, but like, whenever they put the song, there was like this song that they put in the trailer. It's like from the 80s. I don't know why that's a trend in movies nowadays, putting songs from the 80s. I actually do like it though. I like how they put that song when he was battling the fire guy, like Thor was battling him. I think that was when they put it, and then they also put it towards the end once Thor was talking to Odinson, and then at that moment that was when Thor learned how to activate his lightning powers. So at that exact moment, the lightning comes to him, and he's able to like at least suppress Hela a little bit. So I thought that was really cool. And then, but the thing is that they put the song in the beginning and in that part of the movie. So I thought the song was really cool. It made the movie feel like so much like better, I really liked how they put that song during the part where like he had his lightning, and then he was like fighting off all of the soldiers like one by one, and then they kind of like did a nice shot from far away where they just showed the lightning. I thought that was really cool. Yeah, honestly, the music was pretty good. It kind of reminds me of Wonder Woman. You know how they had like the electric guitar, for example, or like I don't know if you guys have watched Bleach before. It's a good anime series. I'm not really into anime, but yeah, I have watched Bleach. Like for example, they put that song, like Ichigo's theme. If you guys get my reference, that's an example of it. So the last thing that I want to say that was great about Thor Ragnarok. There's like so many great things, but uh, these are the ones that I was able to find. So the special effects are great. This is like pretty. This is true with like pretty much every Marvel movie. It's kind of like Disney. Like Disney's movies always look great. The story might not be that great as like other ones, like Cars 2, for example. Oh, jeez, the dogs are barking. But like yeah, so oh jeez, all the dogs are barking. Sorry guys. Yeah, the special effects, dude. Like, okay, so you got Hulk, who looks like really. Actually, they improved his design. Like, he looks more like Bruce Banner now, and I actually really like that. And they made him like more buff and things like that. So, with the special effects, especially in Thor Ragnarok, it looked really vivid and bright. So, like, when they showed the that space type area, and they showed like the Devil's Hole, or I forgot what the name of the portal was. It was actually like a really funny name. I just can't remember it right now. When they showed like Thor's lightning, they showed the bridge to Asgard. Things like that is just what makes the movie so much better. Like a movie can look visually appealing, but the story can be terrible. But the story was really good. The movie was visually appealing. Thor's interaction with Loki was really good. I actually liked it because it kind of reminds you how Loki, although he battles alongside Thor, he can just easily like betray him, like super easily. Yeah. And yeah, so actually that's the good things about Thor. Now, I'm just gonna go ahead and move on to the bad things. Now, I'm pretty sure there's more good things about Thor that I haven't mentioned. I just can't really remember any right now. I haven't really written down any more because those are the ones that I could think of. So let's go with the bad. So, like, first of all, like, what's up with okay, so, like, when Thor was fighting with Hela, Hela actually, like, got a blade, or, like, one of her daggers or whatever, and then she, like, sliced Thor on I think it was on the right eye. So, I think that's kind of, like, I don't know, like, maybe a reference to make him look like his dad. She's, like, that was actually pretty funny because she's, like, now you really remind me of Dad. I thought that was funny. But like, I don't know what's up with that. Like, do they want Thor to look like his dad? Because I feel like Thor should be like his own kind of person. I don't know. Like, I don't know how to explain that very well. I don't know if I'm getting my point across, but like I feel like Thor's gonna be wearing an eye patch in Avengers Infinity War, and that's gonna be kind of like what the heck? Like, why does he look like his dad? Like, Thor's supposed to be his own person, but I don't know. Well, that's not really a big issue. The second thing was like, actually this was kind of like I kind of had this doubt throughout the movie. Like, what's up with the Executioner? Like, I don't know why he was working with Hela. Now, I know he was scared because, Hela threatened his life pretty much. Like, he was the only dude she didn't kill, and that's why he became the Executioner. But in a way, he kind of felt like he wanted the job. Like, they kind of implied that he kind of wanted to be the executor, but at the same time he didn't. Like, I don't know what was up with that. That was a bit weird. But like, throughout most of the movie, he was actually agreeing to be the executioner, and he kind of did want to be, which was a little bit weird, and that kind of threw me off. I was like, well, if he's an Asgardian, why would he want to kill his own people? But we see like towards the end. No, actually not towards the end. Like 3/4 of the movie. He's about to execute someone, or Hela makes him execute someone. He hesitates for like 10 seconds. Hela's like, well, are you gonna do it or not? So he like pulls up his axe, and I'm guessing he was about to do it, because someone else just says like, wait, I actually know where the sword is. So that's when the executioner is stopped from actually executing. Yeah, I don't know what was up with him. Like, I really think that he actually had the same ideal as Hela, but at least he died a hero. He had like his M16s or whatever. His like his guns. I don't know how they were able to easily kill people. Like like, how did he have so much bullets in his clip? Like, he literally used like 50 clips worth of ammo, and then he just didn't have to reload once. I know that's like in every like movie, but I don't know. I thought that was a little bit ridiculous. So okay, the other doubt that I have is like, why is Odin just chilling in the U.S.? Like, what is he doing like there? Is he just meditating? Or is he just like about to die and he's just like has to rest somewhere? Like, why is he just in the grass? Like, just, I don't know what's up with that. Why isn't he back in Asgard? Now, I think they might have explained it in the movie and I might have forgot, but I feel like they should have, I don't know, they should have said something about why he was in the US, like just in like some mountain area. It kind of gives me like the Last Jedi kind of vibes, where like towards the end of Star Wars 7, Luke Skywalker's at that same kind of location. I don't know, that just kind of reminded me of that scene. Now, the last critique, it's not really that big a deal, but I'm just saying, like, okay, so like Thor, in the beginning of the movie, Thor actually meets Doctor Strange, and I thought that was pretty funny, but there was actually most of that kind of scene, they already put it in a post-credit scene. I'm pretty sure it was a post-credit scene. I can't remember what movie it was. It could have been Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, I'm pretty sure it was. If not, it could have been a movie before that, but I remember seeing that clip before, so I'm like, well, why would they put it again? Maybe it was a sort of sneak peek. If it was, then, I guess it's not a big deal. But if it, like, wasn't supposed to be a sneak peek and they just kind of added it, like, I feel like that's kind of lazy, because that clip was already made before. So why would they add it to this movie again? Like, I don't know what's the deal. But I actually do really like Thor's interaction with Doctor Strange. That was actually pretty funny. And it actually shows Doctor Strange's new costume, like, with the more comically accurate. He's got like the gloves and the Eye of Agamotto, and he's got the cape, and he's he's a little bit more serious now that he's a master of the mystic arts. And yeah, guys, that's pretty much all my critiques for Thor Ragnarok. I'm sorry I paused a little like during this podcast. Sometimes I just gotta think about what I'm gonna say. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Oh, and by the way, if you guys want to know like what days I upload, my videos. I usually upload like on Sunday or Monday night. So, be on the lookout for that. So I do podcast every other week so that I can, explain in detail, what I need to talk about. Maybe you guys can leave a suggestion of what I should talk about in my next podcast. Like, maybe Batman in the comics, or, the Justice League movie. I'm about to watch that in 2 weeks, so I'm going to review that in my podcast, hopefully. And, yeah, guys, I'll see you guys later. Stay tuned to my channel next week, and I'm working on, Jay Garrick, the First Flash, so I'll be on the lookout for that. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.